Hello and welcome to Mini Chefs. It's lovely to see you all again. I'm here with Rosa and who have you brought, Rosa?
My owls.
And what are their names again?
Sarah, Bubbles and Owlie.
Sarah, Bubbles and Owlie have come to join us today. So today we are going to be making pesto puff pastry twists. So we have only 3 ingredients needed in this one. We have, what have we got, Rosa?
Ready rolled puff pastry.
Ready rolled puff pastry. Most ready rolled puff pastry is dairy free, which is great if you're vegan or if you have an allergy, but always check the ingredients if you're not sure. This one from Sainsbury's is dairy free. Then we have some
cheddar cheese.
Grated cheese. It's already grated. Oh dear, I've made a mess. And then we have some
Homemade pesto.
Homemade pesto. So this pesto is made with kale. And I've made it myself, so we can use it in this. But if you want to make this again in the future, you can make basil pesto or spinach pesto, or you can just use shop bought pesto. It's up to you, but obviously the homemade stuff is healthier, so it's better for you. Okay, Rosa, should we open up this puff pastry?
I need to roll my sleeve.
Okay, let me open this then. So you'll see when you open your box, it's already rolled up. Let me do the scissors. If we take it out of the plastic bag, what's inside?
The pastry.
The pastry. So you see, you can very carefully unroll it. Okay, so what we're going to do, Rosa, we've unrolled it, so we're very carefully going to take our baking paper out and leave the pastry on a chopping board. And then I'm going to fold this paper over because it's a bit long, and then I've got a baking tray here. I'm going to just pop the paper onto the baking tray. I've already turned the oven on, it's on at 180 degrees. Okay, and then all we need to do, Rosa, is spread some pesto over the top of the pastry. So if you spoon it on, and then you can spread it out with the back of a spoon, and that should mean that you don't end up accidentally cutting through the pastry. So you might not need all of that, Rosa.
Is this like making a pizza?
It's a bit like making a pizza,
But
isn't
with
it?
pesto.
With pesto instead of with tomato sauce. We did make pesto pizza once, didn't we? That was tasty. And pesto cheese on toast we've had before as well. Do you think your owls will enjoy this, Rosa? Okay, so Rosa's doing a good job of spreading the pesto. I think I've put too much in her bowl. So if I do end up giving you too much pesto, then you can always make this again, or you could put it under cheese on toast, like I just said, or you could cook up some pasta and stir it through that. What's your favourite way to eat pesto, Rosa?
On pizza.
On pizza. So sometimes we usually make our own pizzas, so the children can choose their own toppings, and Rosa likes to put a few spoonfuls of pesto on. The other good thing about making your own pesto is that you can make it nut-free, which means that you can
take it to school.
Yeah, well, once schools reopen, if you want to put it in a lunchbox, you can take it to school, and also if you have a nut allergy. Obviously, if you make it yourself, then you know exactly what's in it. I've usually put in either sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds. Okay, so I gave you far too much pesto, didn't I? But you've spooned out a few spoonfuls. So can you see it's nicely covered now? And now Rosa's going to sprinkle over some cheese. That's it. Good job, Rosa. What else do you think you could add to this?
You can make this pizza instead.
Yeah, you could cook it as a pizza. So if you wanted to make it as a pizza instead of making the twists, you could add tomato sauce, or I was thinking about toppings. What might be nice? Maybe some fresh herbs, some basil would be nice, because pesto is usually made with basil, isn't it? But we've just made ours with kale instead.
Because we don't have any basil.
Because, well, we have got some basil, but it might be a bit old now.
Yeah.
You could put on some sweet corn or some chopped olives, a bit like we did. Do you remember we made those pizza faces? I think I did those with the boys, didn't I? And we put on lots of things, peppers and sweet corn and herbs. Dried herbs are always nice. You could put on some oregano. Okay, so can you see Rosa's sprinkling the cheese all over? It's going to look really nice. So if you wanted to make it as a pizza, you could just put it in the oven now. Maybe prick a few holes in the pastry with a fork.
Or otherwise it blows up.
Otherwise it blows up, doesn't it? It looks like an enormous balloon.
We've done that before.
We did do that by mistake once, didn't we? We were very surprised. but then once it came out of the oven it lost all the air that made it blow up. Okay, do you think that's enough?
It's just
A little bit more. It's alright, we don't need to use it all if I've given you too much.
I think that's enough.
That's enough. Okay, so what we're going to do is make these into twists, and because we're going to cut the pastry into strips and twist it, sometimes the cheese falls out. So we've both washed our hands before we sat down to start doing this. So what we're going to do is just very carefully press the cheese in a little bit, not too hard, but just some of it will probably fall out when we cut the twists anyway, and we can stick that back in, but this will just help to keep some of it down. So I'm just using my fingertips.
I'm going to press that down a bit hard.
Okay, do you think that's enough?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just going to show Rosa the first one. So we cut the strips about an inch.
I know how to twist.
I know you know how to do it. You carry on while I just talk about this one. So very carefully peel it off the board, and then I'm going to, probably a bit hard to see, twist it
Some's already
like that. Some of the cheese has fallen out like that. So just twisting it a few times, and then I've popped it down here on the baking tray. So if any bits do fall out, you can pick them up and just tuck them back in. Let's get that one to the edge. Now hopefully these will all fit on one baking tray, but if
How
not,
do they?
so you hold it like that. If you hold it over there actually, then if the cheese falls out it will fall on top of that. So twist, twist. That's it, and put it next to the other one. You do need to leave a little bit of space between them because they will puff up while they're cooking. They'll puff up while they're cooking and they will stick together if they're too close together. So that's it. You're going to have a go at twisting. That's it. So maybe if your children are very little, you might need to help them with this. So you could hold one end while they twist it, or you could show them what to do.
I think I did that a bit wrong.
Or you could actually just cook them as strips. If that was
Think
easy.
I
You
might
didn't
have
do
done
that
that.
wrong. That was great. Okay, do you want to do another one?
Okay.
Okay, right. I'm just going to pause the video while Rosa does the rest of these, and then we'll turn it back on in a sec. Okay, so we've done a few. We've stuck all the cheese back in while we stopped filming. Didn't want it to be too boring for you to watch all of that. Yeah, you can keep those. So you see that there is quite a lot of cheese falling out, but don't worry at all. So I've got a new baking tray here now because the other one got full. So I'm just going to pick up these bits of cheese, and where the twists are open, or even on the top of the pastry, I'm just going to poke the bits of cheese back in. Okay, now Rosa's got an idea she wants to try with the last two. So she's going to try and twist them together in a bit of a plait. Is that what you're thinking?
It's like a it's a plait, but not with three.
Just with two?
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be a mega one. Because Rosa was finding it a bit annoying how all the cheese fell out. Maybe we didn't press it in enough on your side, I think. So yeah, if your child's pressing one side and you're pressing the other, maybe just go over their side a little bit as well to help press the cheese in.
This kind of work.
How's that working? So Rosa, that one might take a bit longer to cook, but we'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa, it's a mega one. Look at that.
There's a load of cheese.
There's a load of cheese. It's a bit harder to push it into this one, isn't it? Because you can't see the openings so well.
But
Okay,
there's
right.
still...
Let's move this out of the way. Right, and then just one more thing before we pop them in the oven. This is totally optional, but the pastry goes nice and golden if you brush it either with a beaten egg or a little bit of milk. So we have got some oat milk here. You can use any kind of milk you want, and we're just going to use a pastry brush to
This is my
do it. There's your pastry brush. Yeah, you carry on. So if you don't have a pastry brush, you could put a tiny bit on a spoon and then use the back of the spoon to
You're just gonna
brush
do that tray.
over.
Ah,
Okay, so you don't want
it's quite hard.
don't put too much on because you don't want it to be soggy.
Yeah, but the cheese.
It's just to
is
help
all
make it go nice and
But
golden.
the cheese is
Yeah,
all
so
right.
just try and get it on the exposed bits of pastry, the bits that you can see. Don't worry about the bits you can't see.
Oh, you've already done.
There we go. Those ones are done, I think.
Wait a second. Just that bit.
Okay, so here we go. So this is what ours look like. They look beautiful, don't they, Rosa?
Bit
So
messy.
the oven, as I said before, the oven is preheated. to 180. So I'm going to pop them in now for 20 minutes, and then we'll have a look at them after 20 minutes and see how they're doing. See you in a minute. Okay, so it's 20 minutes later, and we've taken our pesto twists out of the oven. As you can see, they've gone nice and golden brown, and the cheese has melted. And Rosa's double twist one worked out well. So Rosa's just going to try a bit now to see whether it's nice. So I've transferred them to a cooling rack, and they've been out of the oven for about 5 minutes. Is it a bit hot, Rosa? Still a bit hot?
But it's nice.
Yeah, so these are really delicious if you eat them warm, but you obviously need to let them cool down because the cheese gets really hot in the middle. Is it tasty, Rosa? Great, well thanks very much for joining in, everyone. Hope you enjoy your pesto cheese twists, and we will see you next time. Bye!